Why can you trust my information relating to the Philippines or Spain or wherever? The main thing is that it comes from experience. And I know sometimes, like the issue with the guys being American that say they're ex-forces, etc. That's how they define themselves. It's not how I define them. That's what they say themselves. Now, whether they did a couple of years national service and never worked ever again, I don't know why they stick to being who they are. But the relevance being is that's what they say what they are. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, can you show me your service record? Because I'm not there to fix it. I'm not there to assess their ability. It's what they sell themselves as. Now, the reason I say about the standard is most of these guys are there of that particular group don't have good dress sense, let's put it that way. But often they'll drink from about 9, 10 a.m., etc. They're not a good model in any society. But that's what I'm saying. That's the model we want to move away from. Now, it's not people being arrogant or something. It's the fact that it's not normal to be drinking at 9 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, the reason I do these videos is quite simply to share information. And I know some people have been bashing some of the other channels relating to they're running as a business, etc., etc. Well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. If somebody's charging for their time, I can understand it if you get asked the same questions over and over again. Or like here, there's over 1,000 videos here, and people can go and search for the questions if they wanted to. But some people want to spend a bit of time and ask a long list of questions. I met with a friend here in Spain yesterday, Andy. If he's got any questions, he can ask me to my face. So it's not a case of always needing to charge, we say, but sometimes people do take your time, which is why I justify it in some ways. But in other ways, if you're asking business advice from somebody who's never had a business in the Philippines, then I wouldn't say it's money well spent. My information is based on everything I've done. My blog goes back to 2007, I think. Yeah, it was originally written February the 16th, 2008, but the original articles were prior to that, because that's when I discovered WordPress, because there was some other post on the actual website that was written in HTML, which I'd done manually, because I hadn't heard of WordPress at that time. So all of those years have been plotted all the way through, so you could actually go back and read my nonsense way back to when I first went to the Philippines. Another thing is, even though I'm in Spain currently, because a few people have asked me where am I, and they thought I was in Cebu, my ties in the Philippines are still pretty strong. This week we've been renovating my in-laws' bedroom, so they've had a new bed, new room, new wall built and wall knocked down, new furniture. We're still doing a lot of stuff in the Philippines. It's not just suddenly stopped. We've got a relative that's going to be running for a government post, in the elections that are coming up. So there's things still going on in the Philippines which are quite tightly connected to us, and we still maintain our life in the Philippines as such. Although we're in Spain at the moment, it's primarily for able to experience life in Europe, because you get inside a bubble in the Philippines, like the food and stuff. It's very different to here, and I've got to do those supermarket videos that I did promise Dave. But things like cheese. If we go to Carrefour supermarket, there's at least 100 different types of cheese in there. Those are the things that me and my wife love. So from our point of view, food of Europe is fantastic, but at the same time, the education for the kids is good here. My son's already fluent in Spanish pretty much, which gives him another string to his bow when he gets a bit older. Zoe also speaks Spanish. So, yeah, I mean, the information I do is from my knowledge. So I won't actually turn around and say, well, this is my opinion, unless it is my opinion. Or because most of the time I'll say I just don't know if it's something I don't know about. It's a bit like information on the call centres. I've done the call centres. I've run the call centres. I've dealt with help desks in the UK. I've dealt with help desks in the Middle East. I've dealt with recruiting, training, done sales, telemarketing. What else have we done? Data analysis, data collection, all sorts of stuff. And bear in mind, that's outside my normal day-to-day working. My work as a person, what do I do? Is, firstly, I'm an entrepreneur, foremost, because I do what I'm happy with. I don't like 9 to 5, and you probably hear me frustrate about it, because I think it's the idiot way of working. Because you're more productive for about 4 hours of the day. The rest of it, you're sort of sat there going, can't wait till I finish. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. If you've got a guy on the press doing this all day, he ain't thinking. He's just a machine. You know, he's another cog in the wheel. Or like driving, he's still got to get to A to B. But predominantly my work is about this and the ability to make things run smoother and faster. So it doesn't need to be 9 till 5 because there's no point to it. But also I find the way I like working is I'll go drop the kids off at school, come home, work for an hour, then go out for lunch with my wife April, then come back, then we'll do another hour's work, then go and pick Ubi up for lunch, then take him back to school, and then we'll just do the supermarket stuff, etc. And then at night I'll sit and do these videos. So I speak from experience. I don't speak from just randomness. There's like the video today about the American being killed in Cebu. The bits I put in are questions. I'm not saying the guy is being killed or this or that. I'm just saying the information in articles seem to be extremely short of information for something that's being handled by the police and was in the police station. For example, there's no witness information, there is no hotel names. That, for me, is like saying, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? This doesn't seem right. And that's questioning. So on that sort of stuff, I just say it as it is. I can't say, well, this is all lies or whatever. I just put question mark. I'm not happy with the way this is being played out. So yeah, I mean that's why my information's pretty valid, because I won't talk about, I don't know, Philippines military strength, for example, because although I know how many planes and that they have, I don't know what condition they are in. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're used for. This is why sometimes if you want some political stuff or finding out some of the stuff in the background that goes on, I recommend things like Journeyman, where they actually investigate this stuff. You know, they'll go and see that a lot of the Coast Guard boats are used for smuggling and things like that. I don't know that. I haven't even seen a Coast Guard vessel actually move. I've seen one sat at port, the Cebu port, but that's about as much activity I've seen it do. So yeah, I just speak from knowledge. I don't speak from assumptions, because that's what I was getting frustrated about when I was moving to the Philippines myself, is I couldn't get valid information, because a lot of expats like to have an opinion, which is really, really annoying sometimes, because, for example, you've got to do goat raising. You'll get 100 people say, oh, it's a bad idea, etc., but they won't say why. But then you'll get somebody who actually knows about goats and stuff, but he's getting shouted down by these other people that just have opinions. Yep, that guy has the experience and knowledge. It's the same as you'll find every now and again an expat that's got tired of the forums and stuff, gone offline, but when you find them on, say, randomly on Facebook via 3 friends or 3 degrees of friends or something, you suddenly go, oh, I didn't know he does that. And then you've suddenly got a new friend that does something you were interested in. Because initially back in 2007, the problem I had was all the information was gargled. It was some good information, some very bad information, and a lot of out-of-date information, which is why I started doing the blog, and I wrote about my life in the Philippines. I didn't go outside of that too much, because although I would write my thoughts on something that happened in the Philippines, it was very clear that it's my thoughts. It's not actually factual, it's not stating this is this. It'll be, in my opinion, it's like my opinion. So yeah, I just say it as it is. I mean, it's like Spain at the moment. I'll do an update on Spain because that's where I am. But that goes on the other channel for those that keep missing it. There's more than one channel. Spain has moved to that. But anyway,